Hello, everybody. What I want to try on Wednesday, Sheena was on and she was using these watercolor pencils or markers. And I seen where she embossed it and then she filled it in with color. And I just wanted to give that a try. So I thought that's what I do. I need to pause you because I did forget to get water. Be right back. All right, this better. No good to try to watercolor without water, right? I'm gonna grab some of my brushes here. Uh, this one, I think will do it. Um, so what she did is she stamped an image, she embossed it, and then she came in and filled in those areas with paint, water and water paint. So I have her poppy stamp. These are not the stamps that she used. She came out with some new stamps that have a bigger flower picture on it. And because it's bigger, it's probably going to be easier to use. I do have watercolor card here. I want to do it right. So I'm just going to cut this down. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm just going to cut it here also. I'm just going to give it a shot. So she stamped it and then embossed it. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to stamp and emboss. But with these stamps, it's going to be a different kind of thing because we've got to put the flower together. So I'm going to the stem first. Stem. Maybe. It could go off the paper a little bit. And I think I'm going to try putting the flower on. No, I don't think that'll work because of the overlay. So let's hope this stays wet enough I can emboss it after. Hard to tell. Okay, that turned out good. Her next stamps, I don't know what these ones are, but I think they are photopolymer, but her next ones, she did keep saying they're photopolymer, so that's a good thing. Oh, sticky enough. There, I'll put it that way. That should work. Like I said, I hope it stays wet long enough for us to emboss it. There's a little bit of gap. I hope that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to kind of slant that. It never grows perfect, right? That's going to affect it because I see the ink on the magnet. So I gotta get that tip again. Okay, get that tip. We'll find out if it's gonna last long enough, right? The flower's over here. I could use the other one. What the heck? Might as well just go with this. I don't really want it overlapping the other, but I might have to do some overlapping here. Oh, not like that. This has to go first. Oh my goodness, my goodness. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, that still looks good. Stamp it up. All right. And I still have this here. And I think I'm going to use gold. And let's see if this stuff's wet enough still to hold it. Or if it's dried already, we'll find out real quick, won't we? It did. It looks like it did, but not greatly. None of this stamped real great. You can see a lot of embossing powder in here. Okay. I know it's not great, but we're just going to try the technique, the process, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're doing here. So let me move this over here and this over here. Scissors out of the way. And I'm going to do the embossing. So it's going to be loud. Do what you got to do. Cover your ears or whatever. Okay, it's barely embossed down here. That's mostly just the ink. A lot of this is too, but a lot of it is embossed also, so maybe it'll work. We'll see. We'll find out here in just a second. So I might as well start with this one that I know is embossed better. Looks like I didn't heat the bottom good enough there. Okay, so then she decides what color does she want to do it. Let's do a little red, a little pink. Maybe this will work, maybe not. This is a tri-blend. Violet, mauve, and grape. Maybe we'll use that to start off with. All right. So I'm going to put some color on here because, first of all, I want to see what they look like. Those two are real close to the same, and then that's my dark. Okay, so the way she started is she took water. I need a paper towel here. And I'm just going to knock some of that water off. And she wet and added water to the area she's getting ready to paint. Then she brought water to her color. And I cannot see where that water is. Okay. And then she just kind of drops the color in, and it's not really going so much. She was like, well, you just drop the water in. Maybe the card's not wet enough. And then that embossing resists the color. So now you're gonna want to let that dry a little bit. And I'm gonna bring water here. Whoa, that's a lot of water. I'm gonna pick some of that water back up. That was too much water. But now it's good wet. Okay, now let's see if we can just drop the color in. Now it's working. Now I do feel like I am just dropping the color in. See how it's kind of going on its own? That's kind of what we're looking for. Okay. I'm going to get that wet and ready. And I'm going to get this one wet. That worked much better. See how the water, how the colors just, well, that was too much water right there. You don't want to pool water, but you just let it take it. That was too much water. Way too much water. There we go. But you want the water to take your color and go. Okay. This little piece, and I guess since the embossing is acting as a stop, it don't matter if I get it wet all around. But see how it's coming out where the embossing had a hole in it? Yep. This is my light layer, and it's kind of a darker, bright color. Okay. So there's our flower. And what I might do, she leaves wet space. Of course, I didn't do that. But I might do some of that faux bleaching, right? Like this one. And just try to get some lighter areas. Because, oh, and she didn't have to do this. But I do think I do need to do this. No, that one's a little too straight looking, right? Maybe I can cover that up. Okay. So then she comes in, now that the color spread, and she comes in with the next color, which really doesn't look much darker than what's there. And she works from the inside. And along all the lines, just gonna add some more of the darker. So along there, along there, along here, along the tips. So it starts to look like something. This brush is very small. All along the outside of this, up along the lines. All the lines. And all along the lines, a little bit darker. We need to do some shading on it, is basically what we're doing to give it depth, right? And then this one. Is that looking any better? Then she said, if it's still not 3D enough for you, then you get the really dark and you bring the really dark one in. I got too much water on this. Oh, that difference in lighting made a big difference. That cloud kind of came and blocked out the sun that was in my eyes. And the less water you add, the darker your color will be, right? Because it gets watered down. And she just kind of followed the lines. Added some of her own. They always make it look so easy, right? It's never that easy. Never as easy as they make it seem. But if you don't try it, you would never get better at it, right? Take some of that water off. You know, this whole leaf would probably be pretty dark back there, so Is it looking any better? Does that look any better? Let's get that filled in a little bit better. And we can pull some of that. Is that better? Maybe my brush is just the wrong. It's too much water. I'm just trying to kind of blend everything in together a little bit. I need some more of the dark. I was afraid that would be too watery, and instead it ended up being super dark. Okay. So it just looks like it just really, really needs blended better. Okay, I'm just gonna try to, I'm not getting the look that I wanted, or the feel that I wanted, and maybe it is. She said the other next ones are gonna be really big, and one of her points was that the bigger stamps are easier to color or to paint. Besides the fact that they make a nice statement, of course. Now this looks better. Just taking some away, right? Let's take some of it away. Smooth it. And I'm getting my pieces. Ugh, I don't know. Okay, now we'll move on to some of this green. So I'm going to start. Where's the greens? Let me see what they look like. That's definitely darker than that one. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and wet the whole stem. And I'm going to leave it. And we're going to see. I really am just going to let the water take it. Maybe I wasn't being free enough up there with the flower and just letting it do its stuff. Maybe I was trying to have too much control. All right. And I hate to take it, but I'm going to tap it. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with the other green. And just run the line. That's all I'm going to do. And then I might let the water kind of blur that a little bit. So I'm not even doing her thing anymore. I'm just kind of doing my thing now, I guess. There we go. That was easier, right? I think I'm going to try that with the flower this time and see how that works. And I'm going to put my colors back down. This one. This one. And this one. And I'm just going to basically do the same kind of thing. I take this bigger brush and I'm just going to fill that in with water. I haven't even done the centers yet. Okay. Here goes nothing. Let's see. Ooh. That embossing didn't really stop it, did it? That water's too deep. My puddle's too big. It's not blocking it. Basically, that am what I'm doing. I'm just putting color in and letting the water take it, right? That's what I did. Okay, I'm going to take some of it. Just the little dodgy parts. All right. That's already an improvement, I think, so far. Anyways. Okay. Okay. Now I'm just gonna bring some water in and let it move. Let it move. Move it. Move it. Move it. Okay. And come back in. Take some of that water. It's taking some of the color too, but not all of it. Now for the dark, right? So I'm just gonna put it around. Since I had to come through here anyways and blend it all out, that's why I'm kind of like, well, let's see what happens with just water movement. Let that water move it. Right? And then come in and tap that water off. Oh, you can't really see the darker. That was too much, huh? Okay. I'm using a pretty wet brush for this stuff. So I'm not worrying about it being perfect either. Okay, now I'm gonna bring in the water again. I'm gonna have a clean spot here. And let's see what we can do. I know we're not supposed to saturate it like this, right? think. Didn't turn out so great, but that's... Let me just add some dark back in. Liquid that one. Come back and just kind of do... a little bit more here. Bring in some more of the dark. I didn't leave any white, but I can still come back in if I want and put some water down. And come back and lift, right? And there we go. And that was so much faster, wasn't it? I do think that that leaf turned out pretty decent. Let's see if we can do that again. I still got watercolor down. Now this one didn't heat emboss well at all, if I remember correctly. Okay. A paper towel. And let it sit and then dab it. Maybe that's what I was doing, not dabbing that. But that's what it was. I wasn't dabbing that well enough. Okay, then I can come in with the darker green just on the tips and run the lines. Run those lines. And some of it didn't really blend in very well. Let me try to get that going a little bit. Just some spots. Okay, and dab. I'm going to come in and dab. Dab, 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 dab. All right. Yes, not my favorite. Not my favorite. Okay, I'm going to get green. And I'm going to grab some of the purple. That's not how I expected that to go. I don't want a purpley green. I want kind of mud, sort of. Oh, well, it's just really kind of a darker purple. That's okay. This is really not wanting to move at all. All right. There we have it. Ugh. Okay. Not crazy about it, but I tried something anyways. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you join me again. Bye-bye now.